Everybody has to deal with bad stuff, and especially if you brought it on yourself using magic, you're kind of asking for it. So you deal with it in the same way you deal with everything else. I mean, if you're dealing with specific demons, you know, I've actually had things where I've conjured up stuff into the room that I really didn't know how to get rid of, and it was very, very frightening. And with those guys, if you're actually doing real ritual magic and you come up against something that gives you the shits, the way to defeat demons is that they don't like logic. They have real trouble with logic. They don't like shapes. They don't like being put in things, and that's why in traditional ritual magic they tend to make a triangle to trap the demon in, because demons hate lines and they hate logic and they hate angles. So if you can give a demon a shape, it doesn't like it. And that's how I used to deal with them. Basically talk them down. They're really easy to talk out of existence if you apply logic to them and you just start saying, well, what are you actually? And then they say, well, I'm a demon. I say, so that means God exists. Well, wait a minute. So if God exists, you're very vulnerable right now, aren't you? And stuff like that, they just do not like logic. I thought, if you basically conjure up stuff that gives you bad life feelings, then you have to deal with that in the same way you deal with everything else, anti-anxiety drugs and alcohol. Hey.
Hi, my name is Tillin from New Jersey. I was wondering if you're going to go back to revisit 18 Days, if you're going to do a comic series or a movie or an anime series.
I'd love to do something with it. It started out being it was supposed to be a 22-part web animation, and then that kind of fell through. So I'd done all the work, and it was one of the things I enjoyed most in my life was going through that book and finally getting the Mahabharata, and understanding the structure of it and being able to work with it. And I'd love them to do something. I mean, the last thing I know is that those guys were trying to sell it as a movie somewhere. So it's still out there. It's just something I'm not pursuing right now. But I'd love to finish it off because we had some great ideas for it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, gRanT. My name is Alex. I'm from New Jersey. I have two questions for you. Is there any hope for a collaboration with Gerard Way?
Well, we collaborated a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas on I wrote a story and he did the music for it, so that was the first collaboration. But yeah, I mean, we're good friends. I'd like to think that we might do something in the future again.
Like comic related?
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't really need me. I mean, that guy's smart. He doesn't need me to get involved with him. But I'd love to do something that was maybe more music and comics and visuals and something a bit more multimedia, as they call it.
That sounds awesome. The other thing I had was I draw a lot of inspiration from your work when I'm writing, and I think about like your work, especially The Filth, which is probably my favorite comic ever.
Yeah, it's my favorite as well. So
and there's this idea that every writer has a core ideal, like just one thing, one core message at the end of every story that they want to tell the world. So taking all your work as a whole, The Filth, Happy, Batman, Superman, what would your one message be?
Find the others, spread the love, that's it. Take whatever you got from me, pass it on, keep passing it on, and that's all it's about. It's just a baton, it's a relay race, and we all, I inspired you, someone inspired me, you inspire the next guy, we keep going,
All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, gRanT. Thank you for your work. I'm Nikolai Fomich. I'm also from New Jersey.
Hey, Nikolai.
Hey, and I actually just gave a lecture this past week on the superhero comic. And it was too extensive, of course, but regardless, I used some of your work in the class, and I had some, I put out the idea at the end that, to come back, that the superhero idea is proposed as a living idea to inspire, etc. And I had a lot of, not negative feedback, but a lot of pushback to that, because people said, well, Batman, he's violent,
yeah, but all you have to say is, like, yes, it's possible. I mean, because I've had the same thing. People say to me, but don't really, Alan Moore will say that superheroes just represent American foreign policy, and that ultimately it's quite a pernicious notion, that the idea that Superman's stronger than everyone else and he goes in and punches them and solves the problem. And that's true, because any symbol can represent anything, but is it useful? And to me it's much more useful to see superheroes as exemplars of the best we can be, Because yeah, absolutely, there are good stories to be told about, you know, superheroes who are more like politicians. You know, Garth Ennis just wrote The Boys, and that's about what would superheroes be like if they were in the real world and they behaved the way politicians and celebrities do.
Right.
So yeah, that's an interesting take on it. But we've already got politicians and celebrities. What's the difference between superheroes and those people? And to me the difference is that the superhero is a challenge to a writer. The superhero says, I am better than you, can you live up to me? And I've always found that the attempt to live up to Superman or to Batman is ennobling in a lot of ways. So to me it's like the only place that they are useful is there, is to ennoble us. Yeah, we can drag them down, we can deconstruct them, but it takes us nowhere useful ultimately. So to me, let's choose to place them up there and then listen to what they've got to say. So really, when people say that to you, all they are is they're just expressing 21st century cynicism. And the more cynical you are, then somehow the cooler you are, and somehow the more in touch you are. But we know that's not true. Those same people who are telling you that are shitting themselves, they're scared, they're afraid. Superheroes can elevate us out of that, and I think that's why they're useful, and it's the only reason they're useful, so why do anything else with them?
Yeah, it's a good point. And just a little related to that, I'm just